the 1 versus 8 seed, but they were all close.
All right, and looks like our game is starting here. No spec delay. That just kind of caught me by surprise. It just came up. I'll let you do the introductions. It is your event after all.
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, guys. It is the lower bracket final, the third place match, MBL versus Hera. These guys just played in the semifinals today, and now they will be vying for third place in what is going to be a best of 3. So sorry for the audible there, but we do need to change this because MBL does have some other tournament matches to play today, and I think it's very fair. We are behind schedule as well. So game number 1 is upon us. I'm joined by ZeroEmpires. Thanks for coming, man. This is great.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's been a while since we've cast something together, and I hope we're going to get more opportunities over the next year to do this as well. I know I really enjoy casting with you, and I'm sure people like our sort of commentary duo as well. So I'm looking forward to these games. As you say, it's a best of 3, and looks like we've got MBL here in the hot pink, playing as the Chinese over to the northwest.
Yeah, and I'll give a little bit more information as we go, but since we are slowly creeping toward 4 minutes, I got to ask you, Zach, since you know the rules of this tournament where you can and get a new civ, do you think either of these players will try to restart out of this, or do you think it's about an even matchup?
Well, I mean, Malians right now are considered to be one of the top tier civs in the game, but I certainly don't rate Chinese badly. I mean, personally, I do like the Chinese. I think they're a fun civ to play. I think they're quite well-rounded civ as well. So I think we might see this go on. The only thing I'm seeing right now could be a problem. Maybe that gold for MBL, slightly awkward in the back there, kind of pushed up against the wood line. And his berry's a little bit exposed as well. So on a map basis, I could consider something. But yeah, we got 30 seconds. We'll see. Hera's map doesn't look too bad. He's got the gold in the back as well.
Yeah, I like Hera's map here. I think he's going to be quite okay. Does have some forward stone to work with, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal in the early game. 2 relatively safe golds for Hera. Front woodline with 3 vills on it, so you guys might be thinking about something in the feudal age from the player in green. Meanwhile, MBL as the Chinese with 4 vills on wood is mostly just scouting his side of the map. So no early game laming here, Zach, and we are now past the 4-minute mark.
Yeah, pretty uncharacteristic of MBL. He's not lamed a boar already. What is this? I'm thinking weird. Maybe he'll push the deer, actually. They're quite close to his TC, and it's a really clear push if he wants to make it. Given he's not pushed out too far with his scout, that could be a consideration. And he's also got a sheep right there as well, which he sees, so he has to go back and collect that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of these guys ready to play this out. We will see a Chinese player with a decent nestled back wood line, a pretty good back berries, back gold for him. Pushing in some deer now is MBL. The front of MBL's map isn't great with these couple of awkward hills. I don't like that so much. But we're going to see them play it as it lies. For your money, Zach, I mean, it is a best of 3 random civs, so anything can happen. But who is the better player here? What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think I'd probably have to give it to MBL, to be honest. He's playing more, and he's playing maybe a little more seriously. Also, Hera did have a break for a while. He's only recently really come back to the game and started playing seriously. So I'd probably have to give MBL the edge. I mean, at the moment, looks like he's going to be going for quite a quick play with scouts. As he is taking the boar and the deer as well. But he is just moving out with his own scout now, while Hera's sniffing around in the back of his base. But let's see. Obviously, at the moment, no barracks for either player.
MBL could wall him in there, and he does. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, very easy trap. The map really makes a natural funnel, and now Hera is running for his life.
Yeah, nice quick palisade gate. That's really good, putting that scout out of action. Obviously, those 4 villagers can easily bludgeon the scout down, and a bit more of a trap here as well. You're kind of giving him less and less space to play with. I like this. It's
creating a smaller and smaller box, but MBL's got to be careful because Hera there is on the hill. I don't know if my calculation is right, but I would think the hill bonus would make the scout potentially win there. Is this going to be close?
It's going to be fine. He'll bring the other villager over, but yeah, it was a close one. Obviously, had Hera been in the feudal age, that would have been a different story altogether. So good timing for MBL, a free scout cavalry as well. Not bad at all. And we see Hera going up to the feudal age now, just a little faster. But interestingly, 3 additional villagers for MBL right now. And it looks like Hera hasn't lost a villager either. So I don't know how we're explaining the 3 villager difference at this stage, other than the fact that, of course, the Chinese. What am I on about? Starting with extra vills. But that just means that MBL has had a really good start. He's not had to idle his TC. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, MBL's got a very nice start on his hands. Hera, you can't really fault it. I don't fault him too much for going into that area. How often does the map create such a bottleneck like that? But
no, it's crazy.
But MBL was very aware. You got to give some credit to the guy in purple. He took his right moment, walled in the scout, and we have MBL now with a nice little advantage. Hera will hit the feudal age first, but MBL, of course, with his initial scout out, should be quite okay. Hera looks to be going for a scout build. I don't know what you see, Zach, but I see just a couple vills on lumber camps, and Hera hitting the feudal age now, dropping down a stable, so maybe no big surprises there.
Yep, absolutely. But I do have to say, I think MBL is in a great position. He's, 30 seconds slower to the feudal age, but he's in a good spot right now, as we say. Good start, good eco, good villager lead, and his stable is coming up as well. So similar playstyles from both at the moment. But I would say, MBL's map on this north side, maybe a little bit weak. He does have to, there you go, he's walling it in as well. Some huge walls from MBL, but he recognizes that this berry patch, this wood line here, so easily raided by scouts from Hera, and Hera knows that too, since he has the vision.
What do you think about those walls, Zach? That's a lot of palisades to buy a little bit of breathing room. Are you okay with this?
It is a lot, but I mean, I don't know what other option he has, really, other than, I guess, stationing a few spearmen over there. Right now, he's actually going forward with his spearmen. He wants to keep the pressure up, it seems, and it looks like he's unable to prevent that wall off from coming up on the right side, but there is still a way around, of course. So MBL here, yeah, I mean, if he's going that aggressive, I don't know if it's necessary to go with such a big wall off on the left side. Obviously, he has got to protect the wood, he has got to protect the berries, but a couple of spears could maybe do the job as well. But it's better to be safe than sorry, I think, in a tournament game.
Yeah, the spearmen coming from all sides from MBL here. He's being very aggressive with those forward spears. Does have a couple of scouts. Initial scout lost a lot of HP to some spearman damage from Hera. Hera at the moment with 2 military has not done much in the sense of military. Did build a scout or 2, but that is it for now. Just 2 scouts for Hera and 1 spear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you think right now? Hera go with the counter aggression, perhaps? At the moment, MBL is getting a free wall off. And even though they're ambitious walls, he's still completing them quite comfortably while keeping some pressure on himself, hitting the berries now.
I always feel uncomfortable when the wall off is so much work and you get so little map control, but like you said, I mean, it is a game, there is some money on the line here, so you just have to make it work. I think it's Degao who said in his channel once, any map can be walled, it just is about your imagination, and MBL has gotten the walls done. MBL's imagination sees these spearmen annoying a bit of the wood line now for Hera, keeping Hera's scouts in the defensive position. And MBL with a little bit of an advantage here, Zach, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's kept the villager lead. He's still got 3 extra vills down right now, and I think this is the time you want to look at the number of farms. There's 15 farms for MBL, and there's 14 for Hera, so it's pretty close. But obviously, the number of farms that you have going to be affecting your castle age upgrade time, and it seems like with the walls, that is going to be the prerogative for both players here, actually. Obviously, Hera's going to have to hold this hill, defend, but neither player doing too much damage so far. I see MBL has 1 kill. I believe that was a spearman, so neither player losing a villager just yet in this game.
Yeah, MBL continues to send spears forward. Does have actually quite a lot of spearmen on the way forward here. MBL adding in a blacksmith now. His economy is starting to look pretty well rounded to go toward the castle age. Hera on the other side of the map is not quite in the same spot economically. He's had a few less villagers working away for a while now. But Hera does have a few more maybe traditionally offensive units in the form of a couple of scouts.
Yeah, but then again, you've got the walls off from MBL right now. So he's got this bigger economy. He's got the safer economy. And he's in a really good position. He's kind of taken this advantage right from the beginning of the game it's only 1 or 2 additional villagers then, and now it's like 5 additional villagers now, and that's allowing him to click up to the castle age that much faster. I don't believe he did wheelbarrow, but Hera's completing that now, and then he'll click up as well. But the timing difference is substantial, and MBL now has map control as well, which means that Hera won't have an easy time walling off his own base. The pressure from MBL should start ramping up here, I believe, in the castle age. You know, I feel like MBL might consider staying on 1 TC for a little while, keeping the aggression up with knights.
I'm very interested in how this is going to play out for Hera. The situation is not good at all for him. It's a very unusual spearman rush, at least from my experience watching games, to see MBL coming with this. And Hera seems a little off guard as MBL grabs forging, making those men with the wet noodles a little bit beefier.
The wet noodles, I love it. That's the perfect description. They do nothing. I always used to call them like men with feathers on the end of a stick. But I think wet noodles is much better.
I think that's either Willis or Ornlu was saying that yesterday. Thanks to those guys for joining up for the co-cast. And yeah, we see a couple archers mixed in here from Hera. Hera is very close to clicking Castle Age, but MBL is very close to hitting the Castle Age. Bloodline's coming for MBL. He's got double stables down, and I suppose we're going to see some knights to follow this up. And Hera is slowly closing the wall, Zach, but he's still open. He's still open to knights.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's closing off that left side, but you know, it's so easy to break through here. There's holes everywhere as well. You know what they say, there's always a hole. And MPL will certainly find one. He's going for a monastery right now as well. So it does look like we're going to see quite a bit of aggression from him. Maybe he'll take the time to collect the relics as well while he has the map control. But he is adding a second TC as well, so he doesn't consider this a closed deal, a closed case. He will play it safe and add the second TC to make sure his economy stays ahead as well.
Yeah, MBL with a great early game. He's adding in a TC on the back. He, like you said, he just needs to be patient, take over some relics, see if he can raid a little bit with some knights, take the advantage that he's earned and try to parlay it into a better economy and a little bit more damage. Hera on his side just has to hold on. He just has to stay alive for a little bit longer, get to the Castle Age, and try to make something happen. It is double ranges now down for Hera after the stable, and we do have quite a lot of archer production coming from our player in green. So Hera's going to try to defend with some archers here, try to go crossbowmen, and see if he can hold off the initial burst of knights from MBL.
Yeah, at the moment, MBL does not have +2 defense on his knights. He does have bloodlines and +1 attack, though, but really it's that +2 that's going to allow him to get in there and do some serious damage. Hera here, with 4 villagers on this hill. I'm wondering what they're all about, waiting for the Castle Age to come in so they can build something, but in comes MBL, hitting those archers right now, and since they aren't upgraded, they can get away with not having that +2 defense, do a lot of damage in there as well.
Yeah, Bodkin arrow on the way for Hera. MBL getting what hits he can in on Hera's group of archers there. Hera for now does re-wall. His wood line is still okay against this. Did lose some archers though. Hera hits the Castle Age, did afford Bodkin arrow, but did not afford crossbowmen here. So it is just archers for him.
Yeah, it's usually the priority should be on the crossbow upgrade since it gives you more. Obviously, but you know, right now MBL's in there with these 3 knights, still able to do damage, picking off a villager and keeping Hera in his base, and that's kind of important right now because, if I'm not mistaken, MBL's gone out, grabbed 1 relic, and he's looking for more as well, and he should comfortably get them.
Yeah, the only reason I can think Hera might have prioritized Bodkin is to make his town center, since he was having to camp out under it a little stronger.
Yeah, that's true.
I still don't know if economically it's the right call, but Hera will continue to quick wall and try to make something out of it here. Crossbowman upgrade is in, so MBL's knights don't look quite so scary now.
Yeah, he'll pick the knights now. Say they don't have +2. They're kind of trapped back here as well. Nice walls on the gold. I assume he'll pick off the knights. They're getting pretty low, but they're not gone down just yet. A good avoiding tactics there from MBL. But yeah, like I say, MBL now out across the map. He's got 1 relic. He's grabbing the most forwardly relics that he can. Grabbing another 1, 2. And there's a couple more in the south, which he should have no problem getting. Expecting MBL now to get that +2 defense in, and he can take a good fight here. But for the time being, backing away as Hera actually goes for ballistics right now. Meanwhile, throwing down a 3rd TC as well. So he's kind of keeping everything going all at the same time here. Economy and military upgrades as well.
That 3rd TC on top of the hill is one of those ones that it's hard to look at, but I think it has to go there. I think it's not a bad position, but it doesn't look pretty, does it?
Not at all. I mean, to be honest, like you say, it's got to go there. There's not really any other position that would work so well. The gold at the front is even further away, and it's kind of harder to lock down. Let's see here, though. A little fight in the middle. Looks like MBL's just going to go for it. Not going for the +2 defense, but he's got enough knights there that he should be able to surround those crossbows. A couple of knights dropping, though, and it looks like Hera might be going for the monks here. But I think ultimately he's going to end up losing that army right there.
Yeah, Hera did try to snipe one of the monks, but it was just a little bit too far out of range for him to finish it off. Now the crossbowmen are going to be dead, and Hera's going to have to rebuild. Hera spent a lot on ballistics, and now has some camels to go along with his crossbows, which should really help his position a lot. But remember, MBL does have a few monks waiting in the wings. Our purple player has a couple of TCs down, actually 3 TCs within this tiny bit of wall, Zach. Really a very tight, efficient economy. Holy cow.
He's playing so close, and of course this is making it so difficult for Hera to get any raiding done. Not that he's had the map control or the maneuverability to do that anyway. Obviously these knights able to get around the map, poke and prod very quickly. And Hera's, like I say, still not closed on this right side. So Hera's eco a lot more spread out, a lot more open to potential raiding. MBL a bit more focused on just this small little triangle of TCs here. And I think that's pretty smart. I mean, he's not leaving any gaps in his defenses, so to speak, as he actually completes stone mining right now. Looks like MBL is looking to grab a 4th TC on the front and then go into a castle here as well.
Yeah, MBL is, as we said, needing to get out of here a little earlier, so wanting to play a best of 3, but he certainly has not played impatient this game. He's taking his time, he's building up a proper eco. A small advantage in the early game for MBL has turned into a pretty sizable advantage now. Well, it feels like a sizable advantage, but Hera has done a pretty good job to stay alive. He's dropping a monastery down in defense, and for the last few minutes, Hera hasn't sustained much damage, and he does still have a shot at this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because Hera's actually overtaken MBL in village account, which, you know, considering they were both on 3 TCs and Hera was a good 5 vills behind going into the Castle Age, is quite a surprise. But like I say, MBL has maintained that map control. He's about to collect the 4th relic, and, you know, if the game goes long, those relics are going to make a difference and have an impact. Right now, obviously, MBL is saving for that castle, and in this match, I feel like the Chuko Nu is a very, very strong unit to have on the field if he's thinking about doing that. For now, though, obviously, the knights kind of countered a little by the camels, but as you said, he does have the monks waiting in the wings as well.
Yeah, 1 camel going down to conversion there. So Hera, who is starting to push out a little bit with a few monks of his own, is at least going to be stymied a little bit for now. Purple player is taking stone like a madman. MBL wants to get a castle down, and Hera is going to go for a siege workshop instead. Hera's also on stone, so we could see a castle from him, but not straight away.
MBL, according to the overlay, just bought 1,500 stone. That can't be right, but he does have enough stone for a castle right now. And this decision to go forward with the siege workshop from Hera, I don't think that's going to work out. It's very difficult to take down a castle in the Castle Age, and MBL has fortified this forward position. He sees the siege workshop, and you know, it's halfway up to the Imperial Age already. MBL's in a great place as he completes fletching ballistics, and it's going to make that transition into Chuko Nu, which I think is going to work so well for him this game.
Yeah, and just to clarify for people, we're going to play a best of 3 third place match here between MBL and Hera. They did lose the semifinals earlier today. Go ahead.
Real quick, in the south, looks like Hera might be able to stop that castle going up there.
Ooh, yeah.
It's going to be the first opportunity for Hera this game. You can see why MBL has played so defensively, I guess. The moment he leaves his palisade walls, all these villagers die.
Yeah, and MBL comes over with the knights, but the knights aren't really good enough to overwhelm the camels, not with crossbows behind them. Remember, Hera did grab ballistics early, so Hera denies a castle and gets some damage there.
Very nice. But yeah, sorry to cut you off if you want to continue.
No, it's perfectly, I'm glad you did. I was just going to remind people that we are going to see a grand final between the Viper and Doubt after this set of games, probably without much delay. So if you guys are waiting for Viper and Doubt, which, yeah, it's going to be exciting, hang tight. We will have a best of 3 here. Each player gets 1 re and 1 veto, Zach. So basically, if you win this game, you can veto the next game and use your civ advantage to try to win. But winning this game is the big thing. For now, MBL has a nice track to winning as he hits Imperial Age, but Hera put down some damage.
Yeah, the problem for MBL right now is that he needs to get castles up, right? And he's got nowhere to build them because he doesn't have the map control all of a sudden. He got a little bit relaxed. He's taking a fight here. Unsure how this is going right now. It looks like MBL might just be able to get this with the conversions from the monks at the back. It's enough to take down the camels and now close in on those crossbows. So MBL might just get his castle on this hill after all. Nicely done, but obviously, like you say, sustaining a little bit of eco damage there, and he's now 10 villagers behind as a result.
Yeah, Hera gets a 10-vill advantage. He snipes a couple of monks. He did get some trades with the camels. I think MBL ultimately had to do that fight, had to take it, and I think it's okay-ish for him. But Hera is still in this game. Hera is more than staying alive now. He's adding in stables. He is the Malians after all, and he is going to he's going to make a play here with cavalry.
Yeah, and I think if you can do it quickly, it could work really nicely here. Obviously, Chukonu are pretty good against heavily armored units, but they need a good mass and they need upgrades in order to be able to handle it. So, I mean, MBL right now has enough stone to put down another 2 castles as well, bringing him to 4. He can nearly afford a 5th even, as he's actually doing Bombard Tower right now. So we're going to see that sort of classic Bombard Tower with Chukonu stationed underneath kind of style play. But I don't know, I feel like at the moment Hera's in a position to strike back.
He definitely is. MBL's diving in now with the Knights. Does seem to want to get some value out of those units. I don't think they're going to be super useful for him as he gets deeper into the Imperial Age. So he's kind of sending them on a kamikaze attack to get as many villagers as he can, I believe. In the meantime, we'll see MBL in the purple transitioning to Chukonu, Thumb Ring on the way, beefing up his buildings with masonry, and here comes the first Bombard Tower. He's dropping it right in front of all of Hera's stables. Hera seems like he could deny this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it could be like a slow push with the bombards here. They're certainly annoying to deal with. And you know, they're difficult to take down. Oh, he's going on the north side with some bombards as well. Man, you don't see this too often, like a bombard tower rush. I mean, we've heard of the Trush, right? But this is a whole nother level.
Yeah, MBL's first couple Bombard Towers in that north side were extremely ballsy, in my opinion. Hera does have some Cavaliers standing around, but now that there's a few Bombard Towers up and some Chukonus, it's a much less easy place for Hera to push. MBL's late game Bombard Tower play here is certainly catching me off guard, maybe catching Hera off guard as well.
It's a masterpiece. He's dropping the towers all over the place. So, yeah, I mean, he's even got one on this hill in the south, which is going to see that siege workshop there. And I mean, you don't really see this all too often, but it's an interesting decision, I guess. I mean, they're doing so much damage to these Cavalier as soon as they stand still. I don't know what Hera's thinking here. I don't know if he thinks he can actually take down these 2 towers with the Cavalier, but he quickly realizes he can't, as MBL right now is taking down Hera's buildings with the Bombard Towers as well. I love it. This is fascinating.
Yeah, MBL, we had a co-casters on the other day, and it came up a few times in the MBL games. Let's see, I think that was Willis, no, it must have been Ornlu doing those games, about how MBL lately has done this like late game guard tower sort of a play. Seems to have a lot of fun with these late game towers. Of course, Bombard Towers in this case are quite strong, and they're putting down good damage. You can see that he's annoying the gold pile of Hera on the south of the map.
Yes, and I think really Hera, he's doing Farimba right now for the cavalry attack. I think he needs to counter attack, to be honest with you. I mean, MBL's eco back here, so undefended, not a single Bombard Tower, not really any castles defending this back section. I believe like he's gonna bite the bullet and go for the counter attack perhaps. The thing is, like, these Bombard Towers are going to be such a challenge to take down now. Architecture's coming in for MBL, beefing them up even more. And Hera is kind of losing ground, you know? It's like a boa constrictor. He's just getting squeezed out of the map as the game goes on. But if he can hit MBL's eco, perhaps, maybe he can you know, distract his attention a little bit. But right now, he's struggling to mass the Cavalier.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling, and I think the reason for that is that MBL killed all but one of Hera's stables. So
Absolutely.
That's a real tough position. Hera's trying to get bombard cannons out to try to push this position, but he's going to find some trouble because, of course, MBL, after dropping these towers, is going to come with an army soon.
Yeah, man, and MBL just did great wall as well, buffing his bombard towers even further. 3,500 HP right now, and outputting 124 damage a ball. That's not bad, is it? That's not bad. Yeah, bombard towers coming in at the back, and honestly, right now, I actually don't see Hera coming back from this. It's going to take him so much time to actually take down these bombards. I don't know how he's going to do it.
Yeah, Hera here has definitely been caught off guard a bit by the bombard tower rush from MBL. We'll have to count how many there are at the end of the game here, but yeah, a very unexpected play from MBL. Seems to be taking over a ton of map control. MBL's on 140 Vils, Hera is on 120, or rather 130. Both guys with a little resource in the bank to work with, but Hera really lacking production, just getting his second stable down now.
Yep, and on the right side going for the castle here. Obviously the castles will certainly help to defend this right side of the map, but at the moment, Hera has 31 idle vills as well. Not good. What I would say, MBL probably needs a little bit more of a ground army. He does need to have something to deal with the bombard cannons, of course, which are slowly working on taking out his bombard towers. But I think the biggest thing here is it's going to take so long to bring them down, and he's getting surrounded right now. It's a real medieval strategy, right? Surround your enemy and starve them out.
Absolutely. It's a war of attrition here from MBL, and notably, MBL has scouted the map pretty nicely. He knows about a lot of the extra gold piles, so, you know, full map control for MB. He has lost a few units to raiding here and there that I just noticed, but really, Hera is going to get just absolutely, as you said, boa constricted out of this game. There's just no resource for him. There's no space.
Yeah, wherever he tries to go now, he's going to be running into bombard towers. We do have more barracks coming down for MBL. Obviously, more halberdier on the way. They're fully upgraded right now. But I don't know. I don't know if halberdier is really the best unit choice at the moment, because there's a lot of elite skirms on the map. There's a lot of bombard cannons on the map. Obviously, there's the cavalry, which is always a threat. I think you could do with something else. Look at this. MBL sending a bunch of vills now through Hera's base. Is he trying to get bombard tower up in the back corner? He might just be going for it.
I don't know what he's doing. Maybe suiciding a little pop space, but Hera is chasing him down. It doesn't look like MBL will get anything done there, but sending the villagers in. Yeah. Oh, one of them actually. Oh, you know what he did? He kind of spread them all around. One of them in the top corner. Wow.
Does Hera see it? Yeah, of course he does. He's got Town Watch upgrades. And there's a Gabeto there to quickly deal with that Vil. It was a nice attempt from MBL being sneaky. But at the moment, yeah, MBL does need to work on building up a bit more of a land army. Obviously, the bombard towers are great at locking down the map, but they're not very maneuverable. He's going to push forward now, see what he can do with these halbs in here.
Yeah, MBL with 40 military. He's got some good quality units in there, Chuko News, but a little bit of trash as well. Yeah, notably, though, the bombard towers, if you consider them as a military unit, MBL's got the bigger military by a bit. Hera is going to have some chance now to solidify his eco a little and try to mass something up and push out of this situation. What do you think he's going to mass up here, Zach, to try to deal with all the towers?
Well, I think that, you know, the cavalry is a good shout, because the light cav, for example, with the Farimba tech, 7+6 damage, they can try and do some counter raiding, but Hera just doesn't really have the gold to go for much else at the moment. He's saving his gold for the bombard cannons. And at the moment, as far as I can tell, he's got no gold income at all. He's mined out in the back, so he doesn't really have a choice. He has to go for the trash at the moment, and that's going to be easy for MBL to deal with when he's got over 2k gold in the bank, and, well, that's climbing quite quickly.
Yeah, MBL seems to want to build a couple more of these bombard towers, putting a big exclamation point here on game number 1. MBL nearly pushing Dow to the brink, nearly making the final. Is certainly wanting to prove that he's a better player than Hera here. And at least in game 1, he's certainly pushing Hera back and causing so many problems for the player in green. Now the Halbs are just going to overwhelm the position, probably dying to the TC, but idling a lot of Vils.
Well, I think this is absolutely a GG right now. MBL coming forward with 4 more bombard towers to reinforce his push. And Hera's losing a bunch of his bombard cannons as well, which is his only real lifeline at the moment, since getting more gold to build more bombard cannons is going to be a real challenge. We had some raiding on the right side of some halbs as well. And right now, MBL, the tower creep. But it's GG from Hera. He calls it. And he realizes there's just no way out of this little corner that he's found himself in.
That was an incredibly unique game, Zach. I'm glad you were here with me because you know all these tower techs and upgrades and all the numbers. I would not have predicted MBL to take this game over with probably 30 bombard towers around the map. Did you think that was coming? Holy cow.
No, not at all. I mean, I saw the Chuko Nu coming. He was buying the stone, and he was getting the stone for the castles. You know, and it's not uncommon to see some bombard towers in a Chinese game, but I wasn't quite expecting that. He never even did the Elite Chuko Nu upgrade in the end. He kind of just completely switched course, and man, he got away with it as well. Bombard towers all over the map, taking out Hera's military production buildings, and causing Hera a whole world of trouble with quite well, I would call it a masterpiece. That's what it was.
I feel like
masterpiece squared.
It was definitely a unique game that I really wasn't expecting. Masterpiece is the thing that comes to mind, but man, maybe we need a new word for a bombard tower masterpiece in that case. But wow. I'm glad you were along for that one. I was...
Yeah, me too. That was something nice. Something different.
We certainly got something different out of it, that's for sure. Guys, we are playing a best of 3 here today. This is the 3rd place match. We'll be on to the grand final after this match. We've got MBL grabbing 1 win, so Hera does need to win the next game. Both guys have a restart and a veto left. So if you're MBL and you get a pretty good civ here and Hera wants to you probably can veto it, and you can probably have a nice path with a civ advantage to trying to win the series. On the other side, Hera, if Hera gets a better civ, he has to use the veto to keep himself alive, I think.
Yeah, looks like I have to rejoin the game because I may have messed up there. Hold on.
All right, no worries. I'll just say hi to everybody. It is game number 2 of MBL versus Hera. You can see that MBL did grab game number 1. This is Killer B. It is the 3rd place match, and I am joined by the legend ZeroEmpires. How's it going, Zach?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. And so far, what can I say? Great series. I really enjoyed that last game. Hopefully, game number 2 will have something else in store for us, something just as exciting. But as you said before, the tournament has an interesting rule with the vetoes and the restarts. So let's see if the restart is going to be called here, because I think that's the focus, really, for the first 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah, so we've got settings here, guys, that dictate you get random civs. It's Arabia 1v1, but if you get a restart, you get a new map and a new civ. So if you don't like your civ, you can try to but 1 time per set, your opponent can veto that and both players have a veto left. So we will probably not see any restarts here if players want to use their vetoes. For now, MBL as the Japanese in the purple will be squaring on the left side of the map off against the blue player Hera, who's playing as the Malay. Zach, do you have a sense about which one of these civs might have a disadvantage here?
Oh, well, this is a nice match, actually. I'm looking forward to this. I hope they don't restart, to be honest, because the Malay right now I think they're in a good place. I think they're a strong civ. Most people agree that the Karambit Warriors need a nerf, and as far as I know, there is a nerf coming to the Karambit Warriors as well. But then on the other hand, you have the Japanese, who in the late game certainly aren't afraid to go into Samurai. And I'm very curious to see if we get to that sort of situation, whether or not the Samurai can overwhelm the 300 Malay Karambits, which are coming at you. I'm going to be interested to see if we get to that point. But up until that point, I feel like both civs have some kind of, a little bit of a similarity with the archer line. Obviously, the Japanese have much better cavalry than the Malay, who don't have bloodlines and don't even have the 2nd defense upgrade on their cavalry. Whereas the Japanese certainly got a cavalry buff with Warlord Kingdoms, thanks to the addition of bloodlines here.
Good info there from Zach, and even a little bit of potentially exclusive update information. Oh boy, talking about that potential buff, right? Oh boy,
Ooh, I don't know.
big
Should I
news.
talk about these things? Ooh.
Damn, man, damn. You saved it for this venue, which makes me feel really flattered. I'll just quickly tell people about the maps here. Hera's got a back wood line with 3 vills on wood. Forward berries for Hera, a somewhat structural wood line there that can help him wall in a bit. MBL has been kind of waiting in the wings to see if he can roll in and take a villager down, and I suppose rather than continue to introduce the maps, we'll wait for MBL to try to lame here.
Yeah, looking at his point of view, he sees the ball going in, but he doesn't quite know where the town center is. Obviously, he wants to block the villager. Can he do it? Can he do it? Yes, he can. Nicely done by MBL there, but it won't ruin the lure completely. He will still get it back to the TC.
That's very Obama of you. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Zach repping the Obama chant, but yeah, on the other side, go ahead.
I don't want to get political. I don't want to get too political. You know, I sat next to an American guy on the plane to Serbia, and he was ranting. You know, I when I talk to Americans, I don't want to bring up the whole political system right now. I just don't want to bring it up because I'm sure they're sick of hearing about it. But he brought it up to me, and oh man, he was going off on one. I was in for a treat on that plane.
Zach, what brought you to Serbia? If you don't mind me asking, maybe it's personal.
Sure, no. I went to Serbia to visit Doubt, as you know, he's a cool guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's been around for a while now. Yeah, it might ring a bell. Stayed with him well, I didn't stay with him. I had my own place, but I stayed there for 5 days and saw him over those days. And well, I was there to actually do some filming, but that's all I'll say for now.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Dowd is an attractive guy, so I can only assume it's for the adult film industry, but I won't speculate too much. While we were talking about Serbia, Hera did finagle 1 sheep out from the base of MBL's TC, so Hera did lose a lot of HP to get that sheep, but at least he did grab it. It's probably not worthwhile for Hera to lose that much HP on his scout. MBL scout did take some damage as well, as he was killing that villager who was trying to lure the boar, but of course MBL scout is stronger. 22 vills and up for MBL, 21 vills and up for Hera. Loom is in for Hera. MBL is going to be loomed up as well. And we're seeing a little structure coming in from purple.
Yep, the barracks, of course, and the gold mine. Actually, I'm going to point out, we didn't really speak too much about MBL's map, but it is not a good gold position. All of his gold is forward, as far as I can tell. And that one there, you know, he's had to build the mining camp on the other side, and certainly not ideal, to say the least. And I think people have quoted me saying that about 100 times. But right now, MBL going for the 3 militia, trying to get the aggression going here. And of course, the Malay going to be up faster, even though they clicked up later, thanks to that bonus there. And obviously now Hera should make up for that lost villager, as he'll be able to start villager production again and catch up to MBL.
Yeah, Hera was a little bit wrong-footed, I think, with his wood economy. He started his barracks a moment late, and of course that means that he did not immediately start building the archery range. But, you know, small detail may or may not be actually important. Double wood lines on the back for Hera. Is Hera taking gold? I think he is somewhere. Yep, he's over here on the right side.
Yep. Yeah, going to go straight into archers here, and it was one of the civs in the game that you can get away with doing that, since they're just so quick to feudal. A lot of the time you go for such a fast feudal age, and you just don't have the economy to support archers straight away. But Hera can do it here, and we'll see what these 3 militia can do. It doesn't look like the man-at-arms upgrade is on the cards. Let's see if MBL does consider that later on. But of course, the Japanese infantry attacking a little faster. See what they can do.
Yeah, so MBL with the couple of militia out here. We have not seen the upgrade to men-at-arms coming in, but we do see a archery range to follow this up. MBL with just 1 villager on gold, so it's not going to be very much archer production there for him, at least not yet, not that I can see. For now, MBL yet to find any damage in Hera's base. It's a must-win situation for Hera because we're playing a best-of-3. This is going to be, and of course, I'm joined, you know that voice, I'm joined by ZeroEmpires. Thanks again, man, for coming in.
Yeah, who's that caster? But MBL right now going straight into scams, of course, because he saw the 2 ranges on the left side, and he saw all the gold villagers on the right side at the back of Hera's base. Right now, though, he's in that wood line. Can't find a villager kill, even with that faster attack speed. It's just not enough damage. And there are, of course, 3 archers there as well. But this drush, even though it may not have killed any villagers, it's certainly kept Hera busy, and it's given MBL time once again, similarly to the last game, to close off his map.
Yeah, there's a little bit of cash on the line here. I think fourth place ended up being like 75 bucks and third is 125 or something like that. So there's a little bit of scratch on the line. And MBL, although he does have some important matches to get to, he's got to play patient here as he did in the last game. And I think the walling up is a wise choice for him. However, I actually think that this game is pretty much a dead heat at this point. Would you agree with that? I mean, Hera did not sustain any damage, and now the archers, they may be able to flip the script here.
Yep, there might be a little opportunity for some damage. I guess it depends if you can get in there fast enough. I don't think you will right now. Looks like MBL will be closed. And interesting, you know, MBL here, he's obviously thinking about the Castle Age, right? He's got one range. He's got very little production. It's just a few defensive skirms, starting to seed down more farms. And again, similarly to the last game, he does get the walls. He does want the Castle Age upgrade. And right now, he's willing to sit back, relax, and take it easy.
Yeah.
As they say.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen MBL today going with one range several times in this tournament. We'll see if he can pull it off in this situation. MBL in the purple is on 350 food and 200 gold. And Hera on the other side is a little bit behind. He's been investing a little bit more in building up some archers.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see a little bit of a lull in the pace of this game. Hera recognizes what's going on, of course, and he himself now will be seeding down more farms, perhaps, maybe slowing down a little bit of archer production. Although at the same time, you know, he probably still wants to keep some archers coming out since he wants to have a good base of archers to upgrade once he does reach the Castle Age. But I think he concedes right now that he needs to get back, stay back, and give up the map control for the time being, as MBL will be faster to the Castle Age. But I'm interested to see what he's going to do next, because at the moment he just completed fletching for those skirms as he pushes out, but he's still only on one production building.
Yeah, MBL sticking with the run range, going for, I guess, for the value there. Wheelbarrow is coming in, and we will see him click up pretty soon. Those skirms on the front, as you said, they are fletched up, and they could be here in time to annoy Hera a bit. MBL is going to actually not quite get in.
Yeah, it was a close one. I mean, obviously, the skirm's really not a threat to the villagers of Hera at all. I mean, that builder there can walk it off after taking 21 javelins to the back. No problem for him. But Hera's closed now, and that's a good thing for him. He doesn't have to worry too much about being a little slower to the Castle Age. As long as he keeps the archer production going, should be fine. Obviously, as you say, wheelbarrow done for MBL. That's going to give his farms a big boost right now. And he should be going up to the Castle Age in a second. Second archery range going up as well. So he's going to see a commitment here. Perhaps a switch now into archers himself. And he's got enough skirms to justify the elite skirmisher upgrade as well once he reaches the Castle Age.
Yeah, MBL is going to transition over into archers now, which makes a lot of sense. He is floating a little gold as he clicks to the Castle Age, and of course, you know, skirmishers all day long is not such a big threat. Castle Age for MBL is coming. Hera is going to be just a couple seconds behind, but you have to admit, Hera's got a good quality army here. His archers are in a nice number.
Yeah, completely agree. He's not lost any, which is always a good thing. I mean, maybe he's lost one or two, but I think it was his scout that died earlier on. And right now, you know, look at this. Okay, he's clicked up to the Castle Age. A good, what was it, like 45 seconds later, and he's going to be reaching the Castle Age before MBL even still. And that's the power of the melee, 80% faster upgrade time for you there. And that's actually going to be perhaps a little bit of a surprise to MBL. I don't know. Could be expecting it, but at the moment, Hera's going to be in the driver's seat, I think, going into the Castle Age.
Yeah, I think that the Viper had a similar point to what you were saying earlier about, you know, if you get the double ranges, sure, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get to Castle, but when you get there, you could have a very nice, well-rounded army, and in this case, we will see Hera coming forward, and of course, the melee faster upgrade is going to allow him to get crossbowmen at a similar moment to MBL's ability to get upgrades. MBL is still roaming around the map, looking for Hera, but they're going to pass like ships in the night here, and maybe Hera can get in some damage.
Nope, they are going to run into each other. Now, there's a lot of cross archers there for Hera, so he could still potentially take this fight. It looks like, though, he's certainly not coming out too well. Looks like the +1 defense from MBL is certainly helping things there. Hera's probably throwing away a little bit too much, but once those skirms are gone, of course, he's not going to have to worry about them for the rest of the game. And MBL now needs to cancel that elite skirmisher upgrade. Is he still doing it? He's still doing it. The elite skirm's coming in.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I guess he can. No, he can make more skirms, I guess. I mean, he's going to do it anyway. But he doesn't have any skirmishes on the field right now, so you could argue that actually putting the archery range to work might be better, but I guess he's going to just switch into more elite skirmisher production.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty decent trade from MBL, taking out some of those crossbows. Hera had a much larger number of military prior to that fight, but MBL is still a little bit on the defensive side, so elite skirms and 3 ranges are the flavor of the week for MBL. We'll see if he can pull his side up. I'm really excited to see MBL using that Japanese cheaper mining camp bonus here. Triple mining camping his main gold. You don't see that very often.
Optimized. That is a very optimized. Like, there's always a question, where's the best place to place your mining camp? The answer, just place 3 or 4 in the general area, and it'll figure itself out. Yeah, right now, the elite skirm upgrade has been completed. MBL also doing +2 defense, as well as, of course, bodkin arrow. And, yeah, still good idea to keep that upgrade going. Hera, though, forward with the siege workshop now. And it looks like he'll complete that. Well, he should be able to complete that and get some mangonels out. Also with the second TC, I like the second TC from Hera. I think he had to come and get something on this main gold because it was a little bit exposed, kind of part of his wall before. Now he actually can gather from it safely, or a little safer at least.
Yeah, and Hera's even going to add a 3rd TC over on the wood line on the left of his base. MBL will poke in actually through the weakest part of Hera's defenses, so he could maybe get some damage there, but Hera's coming back with the entire army of crossbows to try to deal with this. Siege Workshop for Hera has a mangonel coming, and we could see a nice bada boom here in a moment.
Yep, and this game going to be completely different from MBL to the last one. MBL last game was, you know, collecting the relics, holding down the map control, booming on 4 TCs. This time around, he's staying on 1 TC. He's got 3 archery ranges, a siege workshop, and a university. MBL is committed to the aggression here. Let's see if Hera can hold off this aggression, if he can not lose too many villages here and keep ahead in economy. He's going to be in a great position in this game. The ball is in MBL's court now. He has to do the damage. And at the moment, he's getting caught out once again by Hera's crossbow in the back of Hera's base. Looks like he's going to lose everything over there.
Yeah, Hera does catch up to this and clean it up. It was almost the most beautiful trap you'd see in your life, but still a very good delay with the quick houses coming down from Hera. He cleans MBL up. Militaries are equal in size now, but Hera does have the 3 TCs pumping away. On the other side of the map, our player in purple, MBL, is on a 1 TC quick imp, Zach. What do you think about going to imp here for MBL?
It's something. I actually cast a game yesterday of Doubt versus Tato, and that was Turks versus Spanish. And Tato was doing Conquistadors with the Spanish, and Doubt was doing Janissary with the Turks. And he went for the fast imp. But the fast imp didn't bring him anything of value because his opponent was able to outmass him in military. He was able to outmaneuver him. He was able to lock down the map. And yeah, you have to ask the question here. What is the Imperial Age going to bring that's going to change the course of the game? Now, in this case, I feel like the Arbalest upgrade is going to be quite significant. But I don't know. He's obviously lacking a lot of economy right now. Only 47 villagers. Is it going to be enough to afford all these upgrades, keep production going? You have to ask these questions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to imp with nothing to do in imp is obviously not the most productive thing. We did see MBL stamp a really, really beautiful victory in game number 1, so maybe he's got a little bit more style points in mind for this next game. A couple good mango shots there from Hera in the blue. Does take down a good group of skirms from MBL. MBL's mostly been patrolling around looking for Hera's main army, and I think he'll be happy to have some eyes on where those crossbows are.
Yeah. Well, the best thing for Hera right now would have been a counterattack and take down or suppress MBL's army. Right now, MBL has an equal military count, or just about, and he's about to complete Ballistics, Thumb Ring, Bracer. Obviously, he's going to be looking for Arbalest when he can afford it as well, but that means that right now, he's going to have quite a formidable army to defend with. He's also got this Mangonel here as well. Let's see if they can trade evenly. But this is really, it's kind of backwards, right? Like, he's got him, and now he's putting down a second TC. That'll show him.
Yeah, MBL is going to round out the eco a little bit here after getting up to Imp. He's got Hera not too far behind him. Hera's got 1,000 food and 1,000 gold. He's going to click Imp now, and of course, Hera as the melee will be up pretty quickly. So MBL's got a small moment to try to shine here as the Arbalest upgrade is halfway done, but here come the mango shots. Here we go.
Yeah, should be MBL's. He gets it. Oh,
1 for 1.
Hera clipping the mango. I thought MBL was clear of that, but obviously not. Now MBL, of course, has Arbalest and Bracer. That means that Hera has to go back, throws down more archery ranges as well. And Hera knows he has a better economy. So as long as he can keep these crossbow alive for now, get a few more military production buildings up, he's hoping, of course, he can catch up to MBL in military count or even maintain a lead in military and push him back once he reaches Imp himself.
Yeah, Hera is mostly idle in these ranges. Here come some crosswomans. Here come Thumbring. Hera will retreat back into his base. He does actually have more military than MBL, so although MBL's Arbalests are going to be raiding a little bit here, if Hera can stabilize the position, he can upgrade his units as well now that he hits Imp.
Yeah, he's actually getting a few villager kills there. Not too bad, but he is still quite a lot of villagers behind. A good 20 villager deficit for MBL right now as he throws down a third TC. He's trying to catch up in economy. And I think this sort of fast Imp was to kind of get the map control back a little bit. And recognizing that, of course, he can't really do some serious game-ending push with that Imperial Age, but he can certainly relieve the pressure a little bit due to the upgrades on the army, and that gives him more time and a little bit more freedom to build his eco up behind it as well.
Yeah, MBL will get down 3 TCs after all and continue to try to build that villager count. He's going to be 16 or so vills behind Hera, presumably for the foreseeable future. 3 TCs for each guy. Arbalest is in for both players. Equal upgrades at the moment for both guys.
Yep, although chemistry is coming in for Hera for the extra +1. Now, I'm not surprised that we're seeing both players go for this Arbalest build. Yeah, it's kind of pretty natural for them to both go down that route. Now, I would still love to see Karambits this game. Hera is saving for a castle, and we'll see if he can get that up. Obviously, he does need to have quite a few farmers up if he wants to go for the Karambits. But for the time being, it's all in on those Arbalest. But we've got MBL following through with some capped rams, or battering rams, soon to be capped rams. And obviously, Hera needs something to deal with that. Otherwise, he's going to be in the same situation as last game. Losing his military production buildings going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's such a nice hill there in front of the blue base. If MBL can hold that hill, which he looks like he's going to try to do here with watchtowers, then of course it's a great launching point for future attacks. The hill bonus is yours for as long as you hold that area. And Hera is just continuously having to go back. Can't really engage MBL within range of those units on the hill.
No, not at all. And right now, guard tower coming in for MBL. You said it in the last game. And it seems like maybe MBL was listening, because he's doing it again here. Watchtower seemed to be guard tower, and instead of, well, this time around, no bombard towers, it's going to be the guard tower play, which is interesting. But I don't know, it's certainly not going to be the prerogative of MBL here. It's certainly going to be more focused on the Arbalest. Let's see what Hera can do. He's trying to get the castle here. The capped rams, of course, soaking up a lot of arrow fire, but Hera's microing his army well. Castle will go up.
Yeah, the castle goes up, and Hera goes back a bit. He does have 1 bombard cannon out now, and he will be adding a couple of Karambits into the mix to deal with these rams. Ultimately, MBL's capped rams are not going to last much longer, but he'll get 1 more archery range as a consolation prize. Blue player is adding in more ranges behind to keep production going, and we immediately see Karambits coming, Zach.
Absolutely, and you think, you know, Karambits, they suck, and yeah, they do, but once you get good numbers up, even a group of Arbalest are suddenly not so scary once you can get us around. And with the bombard cannon, of course, Hera will start to take down these guard towers. And, well, Hera is looking to stabilize right now, looking to push MBL back a little bit. He maintains a pretty good KD, not such a good KD, but he does maintain a villager lead, which is obviously going to be seeing him through this Imperial Age right now.
Yeah, Hera's using a monk and an arbalest in the north to do a little scouting, grabbing a couple of relics, also thinking about taking that extra gold way up in the north. It will be a clandestine mining camp, but maybe hidden in the fog of war from MBL. MBL is really invested in holding this hill, and I think that his chances of winning are not super high, but he's really doubling down with a castle now on the hill.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. Did MBL do Yasama? I think he might have done. Someone in the chat was like Yasama Poggers.
Okay.
So yeah, it must have happened. Must have missed that. But honestly, the guard towers right now really doing very little. Oh, I like this from Hera. Really nice play there to block the ram to get to the not the Mangonel, the trebuchet. And well, it might go down to these ranged units, but keeping that trebuchet up just a little longer.
Yeah, a couple of vills coming over to repair as well.
There you go. You see, that was a nice play from Hera right there. Hera's in a good position right now. And, well, we'll see what happens next. As Hera right now on the left side will find some villagers out there with his arbalest by chance.
Yeah, one arb is all you need sometimes to get a couple of vills down. Treb still firing away for Hera from the bottom of the hill. We saw Hera win a couple games versus Vinchester in the round of 8 in a very similar fashion. You know, Vinch grabbed a hill right in front of Hera's base. It was really uncomfortable to watch. I was thinking, man, Hera's really got a lot of work to do. In this case, Hera's doing the same thing he did in those games versus Vinch. He's climbing the hill. He's going to take down MBL's forward by the looks of it. Is going to kill this Treb at some point soon. And then the world is his oyster. He's 35 villagers ahead of his opponent, and of course should be able to outproduce MBL as the game goes on.
Oh, MBL, I don't agree with this. Building the castle right here behind the castle that's already dying, I don't like that at all, really. Because if you're in a position where you're losing one castle, building a castle this close means you're very likely to probably lose the second castle as well, since he can't defend the first one in the first place. He needs to maybe concede a bit more ground if he wants to keep that castle up. Immediately, Hera's going to move forward, and that castle's going to come under fire. So, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's taught me many moons ago.
It's throwing good money after bad, is what I would say. And at this point, MBL's big investment there might be his last big investment. He's starting to get rolled up on. He may not really have too many good opportunities to bring this game back. 72 villagers for MBL, not a whole lot in the bank. Hera on the other side has 120 vills, is floating a lot of resources, and is starting to expand his economy up to the north.
Yep, and there's an upgrade difference right here as well. Hera does have the +4 defense, MBL with just +2 at the moment. So it does seem like he will lose that castle. He's going to build another castle behind it. It's like playing leapfrog with castles right now. But as I say, I mean, if you lose the first castle, building one that close, you're almost inevitably going to lose that one as well if you cannot reinforce it, which obviously MBL could not. On the left side, Hera was up to some shenanigans, trying to grab the relic. Looks like MBL shut that down, as Hera at the moment is looking to keep barreling down the middle of the map, taking one building after another.
Stables coming in like they're going out of style for Hera. He's going to have scale barding and conscription coming. He wants to make a little bit of a tech switch, and I'm sure he can afford it. He's going to go for the stables, Zach.
Yeah, that's interesting. As Malay have hands down the worst cavalry in the game. Where are these stables? I'm not actually seeing them right now. Oh, they're there. Okay, okay. And I guess, I mean, getting in there and doing some raiding is going to be valuable anyway. Going to distract your opponent. But oh, Hera's going to lose all 3 of his trebs there to the couple of rams from MBL. Nicely done. But MBL's a bit thin on the ground in military count at the moment. He needs to really, I think, maybe concede a bit of ground, group up his military, actually get a reasonable number of units together, and then start the counterattack. I think until that point, he's just kind of throwing away units in small groups, and it's never getting a good trade.
Yeah, MBL's castle there is kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. He did get the trebs, but there will be some bombard cannons immediately knocking on the door of that castle. MBL's point of view will show you he's got a little stone to repair with, but of course, you know, not going to be able to repair forever, especially since Hera's bringing some trebs in.
Well, of course, the Malay here going for the battle elephants. He's, yeah, who needs upgrades? Who needs bloodlines and +2 defense when you can make a goddamn elephant from the stable? That's more than good enough. And the battle elephants here considering, of course, MBL's army is mostly scabs right now, should more than be enough to win this game out, I think. MBL loses his castle, and well, there you go. GG. Straight away, just like that.
Really nice match from Hera. Again, a lot like we've seen in the round of 8. Hera taking a lot of aggression on top of a hill in front of his base, climbs his way out of that problem, stays alive, Zach, and eventually pushes back. I agree with you about MBL's castles being kind of weird on this ridge, but ultimately Hera had way too much for MBL to stop with or without those castles, I believe. So a very nice game. I want to hear, what are your final thoughts on this one?
I think Hera just had the economy in the end, 137 villas to 85, and that's with MBL not even really being raided at any point. The fast imp from MBL was interesting, but it wasn't really like a Turk fast imp where your goal is to get to the Imperial Age, make some stronger units, and then push out and win. It was more of a defensive fast imp in a way. It allowed him to get some important upgrades on his military, retake map control, and allow him to safely boom behind it. But in the end, Hera just pulled ahead economically, and MBL just conceded too much ground in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good summary of the match, and we will go into a decisive game number 3, guys. Right now, we will have this series decided, and whoever gets the better civ here, Zach, is inevitably going to use their veto. So it is a very, very chance-heavy moment here in the channel. I mean, you get a good civ generation, you're probably going to get the win.
Yes, absolutely. And, well, they have a veto each, right?
They both have a veto left, yeah. So, for instance, if you're playing as Hera, you get the better civ, right? You're definitely going to use that veto and make MBL play with a worse civ. So it actually does kind of come down to random chance who's going to get the better civilization here. Yeah,
I don't think there's... no one's going to use a right? Because it doesn't matter either way.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm not mistaken.
Unless they both want to that's the only chance.
Yeah, of course. If they both want to yeah, different story. But hey, look at this. Look at this. MBL calling the instantly. Goths versus Celts. Hera says veto, and the game will be played on.
Yeah, this is a tactical change in this tournament, Zach. People, initially I envisioned, okay, everyone's going to pause at exactly 4 minutes and ask for that but people are pretty smart. These players figuring out that if I call for a immediately, my opponent is forced to veto right away, and therefore, you know, they don't get to scout their map. So here, Hera calls the veto, but he may actually not have the situation that he wants because MBL didn't give him time to scout.
Well, you know, that cuts both ways as well. I think in the last game between Doubt and MBL that you cast with Viper, Doubt called the restart before even scouting his map. And, well, I mean, he actually had a really good map that game. And although he was an unfavorable civ, he took the chance to roll the dice and get a new civ without actually seeing his map. And it ended up being, well, a little better, but still not a great civ in the second game. So it does cut both ways. I think right now, though, obviously, Goths versus Celts, MBL not so happy with that. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think that MBL, of course, wants the right away. Hera is going to use the veto. I think that using the veto here for Hera is the correct call. I think that because this is the final game, re-rolling the civs for Hera would be just too dangerous. And, of course, you know, take what little advantage you can home. So I think the player in blue Hera, with a little bit of an advantage, at least civ-wise, should be able to start building things up here. But I want to quickly look over the maps. It looks like Hera has a defensible back gold. That berry patch to the north looks okay. Main gold on the front, but not too far from the TC. I think it's a pretty manageable map for Hera. Nothing great, nothing too bad. MBL is sending a 4th fill to wood. MBL is still trying to find his couple of boars, and MBL's map has a couple back resources. But, well, actually, you know, MBL's got a pretty good map if you really start to size it up.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously, the problem right now is he sent the villagers forward for the wood, but with 4 villas on wood already, there's a chance he's going for the drush. We'll have to wait and see, or men-at-arms play perhaps. At the moment, though, he's missing a couple of sheep. You just still need to keep scouting. Going to find them eventually. And yeah, I think if he has to fall back and take the wood at the back, it's quite a nice little pocket back here that he can work with. It's not too bad. Neither player has a terrible map, really, and I think it's both manageable, as you say. Now, obviously, the Goths certainly not the most favored civ in 1v1 Arabia, at least compared to the Celts, anyway. And we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, it's 1-1 right now. Both players, as far as the scoreline is concerned, evenly matched. And the civs could be quite a decisive factor here, as Hera's sort of hovering around this boar. We'll see if that convinces MBL to come over with his own scout and do something about it.
Yeah, and look at this is interesting. I'm seeing some blue pieces of wall coming up from Hera. Okay. Hera is dropping down a wall there on MBL's side of the map. Pretty interesting. Not sure what the deal is there. Yeah. A little spying to find the boar.
Doing it for vision. Yeah, doing it for vision. Now, Hera's being annoying, but it won't stop MBL from getting the boar home. Looks like he'll be just fine. And Hera's like, you're so good at that. And I guess by that he means not getting lamed.
I don't know if I've seen that before, Zach. Somebody building a nice little line of palisades to spy on a whole area where a boar would be lured. It's very clever.
Yeah, it's interesting. And obviously the palisade gives you a little vision. But look at this. There's a couple of sheep here near the middle of the map. And they're Hera's sheep, but they're so far away. I wonder if they're ever going to be found at this rate. They're kind of both doing circles around them. Looking at Hera's point of view, look at this. It's getting close, but no cigar for Hera right here.
It's incredibly bad luck. I mean, he's gone on both sides of those sheep. They're so far from his TC that I'm sure he's given up on them, assuming MBL stole them already.
Yeah, possibly. And, well, I mean, right now, MBL has a good position at the moment. He's got the extra health on his scout, which is good if he's going for some aggression. Looks like he's throwing down a barracks right now. It's a little bit late to be a drush, but could certainly consider man-at-arms as he sends 2 villagers to gold. And we'll click up to the feudal age just behind Hera, who's already up and already sending 2 to gold as well. Interesting. See if Hera now goes for the barracks. He will. It looks like Hera's kind of happy to play a more defensive style, as you see he's walled off the back of his base, and he can quite easily close the front too.
Yeah, that back area of Hera's base is actually quite nice now that he's got the walls done. That's not too bad to work with. We'll see if he can keep that area clean and safe. The front gold is also going to probably be defended by some military buildings that can come down right next to the barracks there. Often it's hard to push a gold when the military reinforcements are right next to it. So probably Hera is pretty happy with how his map is structured up. MBL is putting some structure down as well on his side, just trying to block everything in. But MBL's map looks a little more open to me, a little bit easier to raid.
Yeah, it does, and I think he's going to have to do some more ambitious walling if he wants to close it off completely. I think maybe if he didn't go for the wood at the front, his map might be a little bit easier to close off, but because he's gone for the wood line at the front first, he's kind of had to build everything off the back of that. Hera finally finds his 2 sheep as he sends out his 3 militia now to get aggressive onto MBL. We're expecting to see that man-at-arms coming in, I assume. Any second now? Maybe not. It's going to be MBL with the men-at-arms, however. 5 of them, in fact. Certainly going to be sending Hera back to his side of the map for now.
Yeah, Hera yet to take those sheep, letting them marinate a little bit on the front, and he actually may not ever get them home now that MBL's militia have found them as well. Archery range coming from Hera now, and it does not look like he's... Oh, he is going to go men-at-arms here, after all.
Yeah. He feels the pressure of these 5 men-at-arms bearing down upon him, and he's like, well, maybe I need a bit more to deal with that right now. He will get the archery range coming up here with the villager that's walled in, but MBL is going to pressure the palisade, and quickly getting to the repair there. Hera nearly losing the palisade, and he's got to be very careful. The palisade's down. The archery range is denied, and the villager is surely dead.
Yeah, that is a really wise play from MBL. Unfortunately, 5 men-at-arms poking away at a palisade. 1 villager can't build the archery range and keep the palisade going. So that range is denied for the moment. Hera will try for another, but a really good start for MBL here.
Yeah, Hera's certainly in a spot of trouble right now. His 5th men-at-arms will come out. He takes the fight. See how this goes. He's not fighting with all of his men-at-arms. One of them is off to the side, so MBL should win this engagement. I believe it's a clear victory for MBL. Obviously, it helps when all of your units are actually attacking, but Hera doing at least a little bit to neutralize the threat here.
Yeah, MBL taking a really nice advantage here in the early game, getting a lot of mileage out of those men-at-arms. Hera's going to try to stabilize the position by finishing his 2 ranges down, which he will finish. But MBL certainly buying himself some time, cleaning a vill. 2 villager advantage for the purple player, and his archers are going to be the first archers that are coming out on the map.
Yep, absolutely. This is kind of what you need as the Goths. You want to have the aggression on the other half of the map. You don't really want to be playing the defensive style game as the Goths. And obviously, MBL coming out strong here with this aggression already. The one villager that built the second range, having to just wall herself in and wait until the archers make it out onto the field. 2 archers now should be able to push those men-at-arms away. But obviously, MBL back at home, he's got 2 archery ranges as well. He's keeping his military count up, and he should be fine to contest Hera with the archers in just a moment.
Yeah, and those sheep in the middle of the map are finally going to be claimed by MBL. It was a weird moment. There was like a purple sheep staring at a blue sheep, and neither of them wanted to go anywhere. But eventually they will go to MBL's side. Hera will be able to tower up his front gold, and he will continue to pump out some archers. I'm interested in that position. I mean, Hera is investing in the front gold. I don't think he can afford to lose it, but I'm curious if he might have gotten a better exchange out of it if he took the gold on the back of his base earlier. I'm not sure, but interesting decision.
But you kind of narrow your options down a little bit when you build that watchtower, because, you know, when you get to the castle age, you're not going to have the stone to build a 2nd or 3rd TC. It means you have to go and gather stone. And if we look at the stone positions of Hera, I guess the back stone there, it's a little far away. But, yeah, it's not ideal, is it? I mean, he's going to have to now think about this watchtower and think, well, is it going to be forcing me into more aggression than I would like in the castle age? Is it going to limit my options? And for the time being, well, Castle Age is a little far away, but it's certainly a knock-on effect of that tower there.
Yeah, MBL is scouting around now, getting some nice eyes on the back of Hera's base. Always good to have your low HP scout doing the old-fashioned scouting. Fletching on the way for MBL. Hera does not have it. MBL with not much in the bank. He's going to be committed to feudal. He's going to tower his own gold pile. Hera, on the other side, has a lot more food in the bank than his opponent, but is going wheelbarrow as well.
Hera has 5 more farms right now, so Hera's castle time should be decent, assuming he keeps up this rate of farming, and wheelbarrow comes in, and you know he's going to have a much needed boost to those farms as well. So it looks like Hera's castle time is going to be decent. MBL's castle time should be fine as well, but it won't be as fast. As you said, though, he does have fletching. Hera will certainly need to get that if he wants to contest this army of MBL that's barreling down the middle of the map right now.
Yeah, this army coming up the middle from MBL can go wherever it wants. Hera doesn't have a huge amount to reinforce with, but he will eventually have the numbers. MBL's going to slip in through a hole in the right side, potentially with that group of archers. No, he's going to go right up the gut, right past the tower. Not too much for him to do on this angle, though, is there, Zach?
Not too much at all. I think Hera now needs to get a good bit of micro here. If he can out-micro this army, he should be able to get a win. They're roughly even on numbers. Hard to say. Fairly even trade so far. Hera just doesn't want to wants to keep this army busy. Doesn't want to lose any villagers, of course, here. As they head now toward the back. And he hops inside the TC for safety. We'll see if Hera can actually take these out without taking too many losses. Looks like the villagers coming into fire very soon.
Yeah, nice micro from Hera here. He's reinforcing with a couple more archers. He's waiting for the right engagement. I haven't seen a villager go down. He does have wheelbarrow. That's why the villager discrepancy exists here in the game. But I think that is the primary reason. We'll see MBL actually clicking to castle first. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting indeed. And Hera just did the gold mining upgrade, so you know he could have clicked up faster if he didn't do that. He will, however, clean up the archers in the back of his base, and he will click up to castle as well. You know, if he'd have done castle age then gold mining, I think he would have been about the same time as MBL, but you know, it's only going to be about 30 seconds in it, so it's not too bad at all. But obviously MBL does have 4 additional villagers right now, so he's in a great position economically. But militarily, losing that army in the back for very little. Hera now has potentially an opportunity to push out, do a little bit of damage, but will probably immediately retreat once he sees MBL hit the castle age here.
There's a law, you know, Zach, that dictates if you have a few mortar units in a battle that you often win by a lot. I don't actually know the name, but I know you do.
Lanchester.
There you go. Yeah, Lanchester's law, sure. I knew that. I was just testing you. We will see Hera get some really nice exchanges there. Of course, MBL back at home is going to reinforce a new army, and he will have just as many units as Hera on the map. But Hera with a nice engagement in the back of his base. Really great play from Hera there. He waited for the right moment for that fight. He didn't lose any vills, and then he cleaned up. Well played from him. That's a really good look for Hera.
Yeah, and MBL, I mean, he must have, I don't know how he knows. He must have seen something back here, but he's actually heading left with his army. Like, he almost sensed that Hera's around this area of the map. It looked like he was going to push out, in fact, but Hera actually... MBL actually staying back. He's going to go now for crossbow bodkin, of course, as he throws down a second TC on that front wood, a third TC at the back. And of course, MBL is taking the stone. He's looking for the Huskarl as he recognizes that that's going to be a good unit of choice here as his opponent is going into the crossbow composition.
Yeah, and it's a good time since we have maybe a moment, maybe not a brief pause, because we will see some damage maybe in the north of MBL's base. But I'll just mention, guys, this is going to be a best of 3. Originally, this third place match was going to be a best of 5, but there are a couple of extenuating circumstances. So this is the decisive game.
That's one way to put it. The ACL is ruining my tournament.
It's perfect, actually, because it will keep us near the schedule. I'm sure Viper and Doubt have things to do today, too. They were supposed to start the grand final 10 minutes ago, so we're at least going to be somewhat close to schedule here today, Zach. It's a first for me.
Fascinating. I mean, I've never seen an Age of Empires event actually on schedule. Not a live one, anyway.
Well, maybe this game
something goes wrong.
Maybe this game will end up being 2.5 hours or something, and then the schedule will be off.
We'll see. We will see. Hera taking the fight in the middle of the map. He's focusing down on the crossbow from MBL, but meanwhile the skirmishers at the back doing their thing, taking out a lot of crossbow of Hera. Hera flipping over now. He did previously have the KD advantage. He's now trailing there. And he is even actually going for the second and third TC as expected, but he did have to go and gather stone on the right side. So Hera here did have to send 3 villagers out of their way in order to do that. But he will get his second, third TC up as well as he falls back now. A Mangonel coming out. We're going to see some action there, Killer B.
Maybe so, yeah. That Mangonel on 75%. MBL going back for now. Both guys are booming up. Both guys are kind of returning to their corners for the moment. MBL will have a 7-villager advantage. Who do you think's ahead right now, Zach? I mean, MBL and Hera with similar militaries. A slight eco advantage for MBL, I guess. Yeah. But of course, different civs.
Yeah, it's close, isn't it? I mean, obviously the Celts do have the wood chopping bonus, so that certainly helps them with their economy, especially when you get to the castle age and you need to build 2 new TCs and seed more farms, which, you know, the same can't be said for the Goths. So yeah, I think that it's pretty close right now. Next couple of engagements could change quite a lot, but MBL has the castle coming up, and that could really, as you would say, flip the script here. But, whoa, nice Mangonel shot from Hera right there. We'll get him an advantage in this little engagement, but I don't think he'll have that advantage for long once those Huskarls start coming out.
Yeah, Hera cleans up that small army, but MBL needed to take that fight to get his castle complete. Hera is going to probably lose a mango here, huh?
Into the castle.
No, he doesn't lose a mango.
Looking for Hera.
Interesting.
Looking for Hera.
Yeah. Ooh, look at this. Hera is going to see the castle and immediately go longsword, Zach.
I like it. That's a good decision here. Obviously, the infantry or the champion line sort of counter to the Huskarls, and you know, it doesn't make sense to keep throwing in more crossbowmen when you know your opponent's going for Huskarls here, and it's fairly obvious that that is what MBL is doing. But yeah, obviously, in an infantry war, the Goths are going to trade more favorably. So it's all about getting the right unit composition together and perhaps suppressing MBL's economy a little bit here. We'll see what Hera can do with these crossbow. Quick reaction from MBL, hopping into the TC. He's fine for now.
Another town center coming for MBL on the back of the map. He's on 72 vills. Hera has been more TC efficient, I would suppose, unless I'm mistaken. It looks like Hera is catching up on the vill count a bit. I suppose he picked a vill or two from MBL as well. For now, the Huskarls are coming out, but they are immediately hard countered by those longswords.
Yep, and we've got Anarchy now coming out as well, so we're going to see the barracks now being put to use as well. But yeah, the Longswordsman, a great unit choice here, of course. The TC now from MBL coming under fire from the two Mangonels, and there's not really anything he can do about that. He doesn't have his own siege workshop. He can't really get close with the Huskarls, as we saw already. They went down pretty quickly to the Longswords there, and that was even with an upgrade advantage for MBL, I believe. He's just completing +2 defense right now. But it looks like the TC might just have to be conceded here, as Hera puts himself into a pretty good position. But against the Goths, you never want to let the Goths get too far ahead economically. And of course, Hera's going to be suppressing MBL's economy quite nicely by taking out that TC.
Ooh, and MBL is kind of trying to get over to the Mangos, but he's going to find longswords first. Longswords versus Huskarls here. The longswords, of course, getting a pretty nice, cost-efficient trade. Both players will go back, but that's a really nice moment for Hera because he's still pushing in with Mangos.
Very nice indeed. And I think MBL now, you know, yeah, I was going to say, he's got to go he can't just go into longswords himself, right? Because Hera's got a good number of crossbow already. He can easily add more crossbow in. So he's kind of sticking to his guns with the Huskarl. But he can't take an engagement versus the longswords either. So his only option left is really to try and raid, because he's not going to struggle dealing damage to Hera's economy, especially under the TC arrow fire or the arrow fire from the watchtower. So he's going to try and counterattack here, try and raid a little bit. But there is a couple of Mangonels going for his second TC now, and still no real response to that.
Yeah, MBL is going to dive in from behind with Huskarls, and this has to go better for him than the last fight.
Yeah, I think he's got that. He's got to have that. He's got the numbers now. And of course, he's producing from 3 barracks as well as the castle. So should be a win there for MBL. And he does mitigate the damage overall, which is really important at this stage of the game. He can't afford to lose another TC here.
This is a really interesting moment in the game because Hera has done a very nice job, but he is going up to Imp. And of course, the Goths player is probably going to stay castle and pump a bunch of Huskarls out using Anarchy. In the next few minutes of game time, Hera's going to need to have a good answer to the Husks, but he's only got 4 military. So even though the longswords counter, they're just in such a tiny number. This is MBL's moment to win this game right now. Hera's played great, but this could really swing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like the longswords are a hard counter to the Huskarls, right? I mean, MBL is able to mass up enough of them, and he'll take a good fight regardless. And at the moment, Hera will get the castle up on the front. That's going to help, but the Huskarls are going to slip by, get to the back of Hera's base, and well, now the potential for damage is there. Obviously, Hera needs to get some Woad Raiders out quickly and try and deal with these Huskarls here. But yeah, the Huskarls causing trouble, forcing idols, and killing vills back here.
This is one of those moments that kind of separates the men from the boys, and Hera is a guy who I think of as the underdog in this set, but if he plays his cards right here, I think he can survive the damage that's coming in. His Imperial Age will be done soon. His villager count is still strong. He is reinforcing now with Woads, which will help him chase down the Huskarls, but he's got to not panic. I mean, this is a moment where I would be panicking if I'm playing the game. Hera's got to keep his cool. He can still deal with this.
Yeah, well, this is exactly what I'm saying before, right? MBL went with the counterattack. He had to counterattack here because it's the best way to shift the focus to the other side of the map, which is exactly where he wants it. But he will lose all those Huskarls in there as the Woad Raiders come through. And MBL now completing Arson as well. Now he's probably thinking, well, with Arson, I can tear down some buildings as well here if I get the opportunity to go into the back of Hera's base once again. But it also looks like MBL is going into the champion line as well now, recognizing that, of course, Woad Raiders on the field. The Huskarls perhaps not the best idea to go for, you know, a mono army composition.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, we saw the longswords coming out to deal with the Husks, and we see the Woads coming out. And, you know, making a Goths player go down the champion line is really not a way, it's not a thing that makes you feel like, oh, great, I forced him into champions, right? Goths are great at spamming champions. So Hera will need an answer to that, and we will see what it is very shortly.
Exactly, and the champions, of course, it's just going to be so cost-effective for the Goth players, since the reduction in cost is going to be stacking up with every champion he builds. And meanwhile, I mean, Hera's doing what the Celts do best. I mean, it is pretty traditional build to go into the Woad Raiders after the crossbow, make that transition. This case, though, doing it against the Goths, well, we'll have to see. If he can get a good number of units together, maybe overwhelm MBL, he might be able to get the momentum. But I think this is definitely going to be one of those games that's going to be very momentum-based. Once one player buckles, the other player is just going to put the foot down on the gas, and the pressure is just going to ramp up, and it's kind of snowball out of control. So we've got Elite Woad Raider coming in, Two-Handed Swordsman just completing, but the numbers, as expected, way on MBL's side right now.
Yeah, MBL grabbing Perfusion there, and he is going to be able to spam at an incredible rate with 6 barracks out on the front. He does have a couple more barracks at home, so probably 8 or 10 barracks of production for MBL. He's going to get champion very shortly, and the next few moments of the game for Hera are going to be ridiculously pressure-filled. MBL can just run in and kill TCs now if he wants.
Yeah, he's going to try. And this is exactly where the right time for MBL to strike, right? I mean, he's got this big army right now. Champions a lot faster to get upgraded and produced than Woad Raiders. And now is his time to strike. And it looks like he's doing just that. Looks like he'll hold Hera in the middle of the map while simultaneously pushing forward on the front. He'll take down the TC on the left with the champions. And you know what? This could be GG. Like I say, momentum-based. As soon as Hera buckles, MBL takes it, and there's just nothing Hera can do to match the production there from the Goth player.
Yeah, Hera was able to force MBL to play this game by using a veto. Hera liked his Civ matchup, and so did we, but ultimately MBL found a way to win. The Goth spam with Perfusion from 6 or 8 barracks, going down the champion line at the end of the game here for MBL. MBL had a couple armies in Hera's base that were mostly dealt with nicely, but if at first you don't succeed, try again, and MBL will grab the win, and he'll get 3rd place. Any final thoughts on this series, Zach?
Yeah, nice series. I think we saw some interesting matches. Obviously, Goths versus Celts is one that I'm particularly fond of. But that first game with the Chinese, that was something special. So certainly enjoyable games. Thank you so much for having me. I've really had a good time, and I've enjoyed it a lot.
Dude, I couldn't ask for better help to jump in here today. We've had an absolutely great time. Co-casters really coming in and saving my life. You can probably hear from time to time, my voice is like cracking. It's like I'm going through puberty again.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling entirely. After 2 days of casting, like 8 hours a day, it really gets to you. And having someone to relieve that sort of pressure a bit, I guess, certainly helps.
Yeah, man. You're OP. You're a force multiplier. Thanks very much for joining me, and I can't wait for the ECL to heat up. Is there anything else you want to chat about? I'm sure we have a few minutes between games. Do you want to plug anything cool that's coming down the pipeline, or are you keeping things secret right now?
Well, I guess the only thing really is that we're going to be doing an ECL highlight stream. So that's going to be the qualification highlights, and that's going to be on the 30th of June this month and the 1st of July next month, of course. Back-to-back streams, just covering the best games from qualification. Of course, it's not going to be super hyped up or super advertised, because it's just going to be the qualification matches, and as expected, they won't be the highest tier games. But for those that want to catch that and keep up to date with what's going on, you can tune into that on the Escape AoE channel on the 30th and the 1st.
That is going to be something that I'm looking forward to fully. I can't wait for this ECL to heat up. Everybody should check that out. Keep your eyes on AoE Zone for further updates on all of this stuff. And I just got to say, thanks again, Zach. You're a lifesaver here, man.
Thanks for having me, and I hope you have a good final. Obviously, Viper and Doubt coming up. I'm going to be watching as well. Looking forward to that. And yeah, hopefully everyone has a good time, and I'll see you guys later.
Awesome stuff, guys. That is ZeroEmpires. I'm sure you guys are all followers and subscribers already to the OG, one of the first guys who was making this game, casting this game popular, and certainly a guy who's been super involved in keeping this game rolling. We're very lucky to have Age of Empires alive at the stage we're in 2018, and I think Zach is a huge part of it. So big ups to Zach. I hope you guys will continue to support that guy. Such a good guy. What I'll do now is take a few moments and we'll wait for maybe the Viper and Doubt to get into the game room. We are just about 20 minutes later than we expected for the start. Those two players are just going to congregate here real quick, and I will take the opportunity to run off for a moment and take a quick second to get maybe a little bit of caffeine, a little bit of energy juice, and I will bring Nilly in just a moment. Nilford, of course, you guys all know Nilly will be here with the finals, and we will see that in just a couple of minutes. It could be very shortly here, so I'm just going to run off and take a quick break. All right, guys, just typing away to try to get everything ready with Nilly. I will update the scoreboard real quick. We don't need the timer because the Viper and Doubt are here. In a brief moment, we will pull in. Let's pull in Nilly now. Let's pull Nilly into the booth. Nilly's muted at the moment, but whenever he's ready, we will have Mr. Nilford joining up to co-cast some matches here. Going to be a lot of fun today. Finishing off with the grand final, best of 7. I'll quickly change the scoreboard, and these games are going to start basically right now. So you guys better get locked and loaded and ready because it is going to heat up now. Grand final, best of 7.